Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Yunnan. Let's check it out. To set up for the game, each player is going to get all the pieces of their color. They're going to start with 3 pawns, and then of course 4 that they can bring in later on in the game. And then they're going to start with a bunch of resources here that I'll talk about later, but they're going to have 2 trade posts, 2 tea houses, and 2 bridges there. And also they're going to have this little token here that says 0 and also minus 100. I'll explain what that means in a minute. The first 2 players, player 1 and 2, will get 9 coins each. Players 3 and 4 will get 12 coins each. And if you're playing with 5 players, that 5th player will get 15 coins. To set up the board, you're going to have the tax inspector. He's going to go right here on the board here. You're going to have these markers of your color, and they're going to go on this track, and then on the turn track here. You're going to have horses of your color. You're going to put them all here where you see the little horse emblem there. You're also going to have these, what they're called as gift tokens. They have the number 3 on them, standing for 3 victory points. You're going to put as many on these boards as you see emblems here. So this one has 3 emblems. So that means I put 3 there. That one has 2. That one had 4. That one had 5. And that's how you stack those up. Now, if you're playing with the advanced game, you'll have this little black marker here, and I'd suggest you do. You'll put it here, starting on the track, and at the end of every round, you'll just keep moving it down until it gets to 7 rounds, and it'll just stay there. I'll explain what that means in a minute. Of course, the squares are your victory point trackers, and these track coins spent. I'll talk about that in a minute. The little circular disc there. Now, how this game plays is, of course, very simple. What you do is you take turns in phase 1, and you're going to be bidding on any one of these 5 rows here. Now, the first 2 rows are 5 and 7. If you see the pictures here, they're in smaller houses than the 9, 12, and 15 spots. And that's because, let's say I started the bidding off for 5 for that one, and purple came in, and he outbid me at 7. Well, if that's the case, I get removed from the board. And let's say green came in and got 9. Well, then he would remove 7 from the board. And now it's my turn again, and what if I bid 12? Okay, well, green still gets this reward for 9. He's not moving anywhere. The only time you move are in these lower houses. And of course, why would you play there? Well, you may want to get, maybe you can get it at a good deal. But if you don't, then someone takes that 9 spot, you're going to have to be paying more coins for it if you really, really, really want that ability. And I'll get to what each one of these do in a minute. So that's basically how bidding works. Remember, if it's 9 or up, you're going to get that reward regardless. One thing you can't do during bidding, of course, you can't bid twice in the same area. That can't be happening. All right, so once everyone has completed their bidding, they're going to pay out their coin. But there is one other thing that you can do. Let's say that the board kind of looked like this at the end here. All right, and it was yellow's turn. By the way, when you pass, if a player passes, he just slides his pawn over to indicate he is done for the round. And of course, that will set the first, second, third players for the next round as well. Now, when someone has passed, well, let's say I didn't pass. Let's say the other 2 had passed, okay? And it's still my turn. Do you have to bid all 3 of your yellow people? No. In fact, you really don't want to. But if I wanted to, I could go by the bank. This is this area here. And if you see, there's little 2 emblems on there. One is a man showing him half the X on the top half. One's X on the bottom half. So what that means is, instead of bidding, let's say I don't really want to spend any money here, I'm just going to go to the bank. So I go to the first spot in the bank, and I have to remove all my guys, whether they are winning or losing. I have to remove them from the bidding. I cannot bid anyone because I went to the bank. And what that means is you're adding up all the points that people are spending here. So 14 plus 9 is 21. We look at 21 here on the board, and it says, hey, at 9 or 6, and you can see that on the board there. I'll kind of zoom in so you can see it there. Now what that means is, remember I was on the one where I couldn't get the bottom half, I could get the top half. That's how much money I will get by going to the bank. Now if someone went on the second spot, they get the lower number, which is 6. And again, it reminds you on those emblems on the bank. Now of course, when you're going to the bank, you can of course not bid for anything here. Now once everyone has bid, then any remaining players who did not bid here, so for instance, purple would have 1, green would have 1, and yellow would have 2. They would start right here in the little starting area, and they're ready to continue their actions. What you can do on your turn is you can move up to as many as you have points on this track. So for instance, everyone starts with 2 movements. What is 2 movements? Well, my guy could go 1, 2. And if you see, you're following this road, and there are these little guards across the little borders, and that's the emblem here, is the guards here. Or I could just go 1 and then bring my second guy in for 2 and go like that, which is probably what I would do. Now, by doing so, if you won, let's say green won this reward, what they would do is they move their pawn up 1 on this track, and now they get to move 3 spaces, or 3 men 1 space, however they want to. So basically what this track here does, it gives you more movement. Now, going back to this track here, this one gives you extra people. That's how you unlock your 4 extra players in the game. And if, let's say, purple did win this, then they would automatically have another guy appear right there in the town that they could use in the same round. So whoever wins this, or whoever's in the 9, 12, or 15 spots, are definitely going to get extra people. Now, you can only move as far as your horse is, and right now all the horses start in 1 land. If anyone were to win this area here, they could get to move their horse 1 space down the board. So if someone were to do that, let's say, you know, green had won this one, and they would go here, they'd move 1. Well, only green can move up to this area. Yellow couldn't really move up there because yellow's horse was right here. So earlier, when I said 1, 2, I really couldn't do that. I could only have done 1, 2 and stay there because I can't move further than where my horse is. However, green, on his 2, he can go 1, 2, and he can go right up there with his horse. You can always go as far as your horse is. That's why you want to win this one, so you can get that horse travel farther and farther out, because of course everything is worth more victory points in the game the farther out you go. The next one here is the Emperor's Favor. Anyone who wins this will also go up on the track here. And in the Emperor's Favor, every time purple ends their movement, they can move another player who has less favor than them with the Emperor back 1 space. So for instance, let's say purple went 1. And now he gets to remove one of my people. Now, if there was, you know, all 3 of us there, he could choose. But he chooses to bump yellow down. So I go back down here, which is not good because I may not get any good, I'm not going to get many good victory points there. So anyway, that's what the Emperor's Favor does. Finally, you have this track, which gives you 3 types of buildings. Again, trade houses, tea houses, and rows like this. Now, you get to decide which one of these you're going to build. You can only build 1. And what what trading posts do is, by the way, let's say I have the horse way out here, and I have a guy here. I cannot score the victory points in this area because I have a broken chain. I don't have anyone here or anyone here. But if I had some trading posts later on, and I bought one and placed one here and here, I would have an established chain there. And so then I could cash in on all the victory points that I have a train back to Pure Air or wherever this place is. But I couldn't do that if I didn't have, if I didn't have one here, I couldn't count either one of those 2. That would be bad, right? So that's what this can do. Now, there's no limit to how many, you only have 2 trading posts, but there's no limit to how many you can put there. So if I put 1, purple could put 1 there, and green could put 1 there as well, if they wanted to. Now, the farther out you put your trading post, though, the more victory points it's going to entail, and the board will tell you that over here. Same thing for men. The farther out your men are, the more victory points you're getting too. Now, the next building you can build is a tea house. How a tea house works, you can only build 1 tea house per land, and there's a space in each section of the board here. And when you build your tea house, you're going to get 12 victory points. Woohoo! And something else is really cool is going to happen, but I'll talk about it later. The last one is the bridge. If you build the bridge, you can create a shortcut, for your future men to travel on. For instance, there's pictures of broken bridges all across town here, which is really cool. If you were to buy, a bridge, you and only you may cross that bridge. So how it would work is, let's say I had 2 moves. Well, instead of following the path 1, 2, I could go into this land 1 and go here 2 because I have a bridge there. Or if I put the bridge here and had a horse here, I could go 1, 2, and really skip past, 2 lands and go here, this shortcut here. Of course, there's also a place to put a bridge there. So if I had a horse there and shoot, all that there, I could go 1, 2, and let's say I had a third movement, 3, and just get right to the very end, which would be bank, man. But anyway, everyone has 2 bridges. That's the maximum you can have, and to be honest, as the more players there are, you probably won't be able to place even both of them. But anyway, bridges give you shortcuts, but remember, you can't go there unless you have your horse already there. So those are the 3 types of buildings you can build if you win on that track. So that's the importance of winning those tracks. Now afterwards, you're going to look at the board and you're going to see which one is getting the most victory points for that round. So we look over here, and one guy here gives me 12 victory points. That's nice. There's nothing, well, I'm going to get 3 victory points here because I have my little trading post here. And over here, oh my goodness, there's 1, 2, 3, and these are worth 6 people each, 6 and 6. Tea houses aren't worth anything. They're a one-time bonus of 12, and then that's it. But anyway, this one's where most money is being made. So what's going to happen is the tax inspector is going to move to this area, and this is really bad here because whoever has the most favor, which in this case, unfortunately, is purple. Remember, purple had the right to bump people down. He was the bully. Well, the tax inspector goes, and he sends them all the way back to pure. Now, even if, you know, this was where they're making the most money, let's say, if he goes here, then, and I had, you know, I'm making the most money there. Yeah, he should be picking me and bumping me all the way back to the beginning. Nope, because whoever has the most favor here, he hates you. He hates you because you're mooching up to the emperor, so he boots you all the way back down. And that extremely sucks. The tax inspector sucks. Now the one thing is, when you get to the top here, it's all in gold. That means you are, you know, the emperor's firm. He is your best buddy. And if that's the case, the tax inspector is going to leave you alone. He can't mess with you anymore. But anywhere on this track, if you have the most favor, he's going to come after you. After that, whoever's making the most, he's going to bump all the way down to the bottom before you can cash in and get your goods. Really awful, awful guy. Now, one cool thing about tea houses is, let's say that, you know, this is where the most money is being made, and I am equal in favor with purple. Well, he should go after me, but because I have a tea house here, he loves tea, so he's going to go here and he's going to sip on some tea, and he's going to leave me alone and then pick on the next guy, which would be purple, and move purple back. Poor purple. Anyway, that's the good thing about tea houses. But anyway, tax inspector, oh, he hates him. All right, so after you've done the tax inspector round, then you're going to count up everyone's victory points. And here's where the cool thing about this game is. You can either take all the points, or you can cash those points into coin, or you can split it, you know, half coin, half points. So for instance, let's say I was making 25 points this round, you know, whatever, I'm not counting it up. I could take 15 of that in victory points, and the other 10 of that and coin, you know, I could take that, or, you know, dice it up however you wanted to. And that's really where the crux of the game is, because, and by the way, if you're playing the advanced version, you're going to move this marker down 1 after each round. I forgot to mention what this marker does. It's back during the bidding phase. If you actually bid more money than what you have, which sometimes will happen, that will suck, or sometimes you just want to do it because you're 1 or 2 coins off. It says here in the first round, anyone who goes 1 coin over is going to get -8 victory points. And then later on, the next round, they get -7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. After that, it's 2 for the rest of the game. Now, what that means is, if you have to go backwards here, you know, on your very first turn, because sometimes that's usually when you're going to be taking that money, that's when you're going to be using that -100 here. Remember, it goes to 0, it goes -100. And all that means is, let's say that I had to borrow money, and I went -8, so I'm at 92. So, 92 minus 100 is -8, and that's kind of how they remind you of that. And of course, when you can get out of debt there, you'll just flip this around to 0, showing you don't have any -100. And usually you're going to use that at the beginning of the game. Other than that, though, this really won't, I mean, it's really cool because at first it really penalizes you, and then at the end, when you kind of don't need it, but you may want it, it's less of a hit on you. You don't worry about it as much. If you are in an area and you have a majority there, you're going to get this gift, which is worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. If it's a tie, no one's getting it. So you're gathering up all these points. Tax inspector's coming. Then you're cashing in either victory points or in coin. You know, split it or go all or one. The game is going to end when someone gets to 80. Once someone gets to 80, that's it. You count up the extra gifts you have. And then you're also going to count up where you are on these little victory tracks here. So at the end of the game, let's say it looks something like this. All right, green is going to get 16 points here and 4 points here. They got an extra 20 points there. Yellow got 16 here and 4 there. They're getting an extra 20. Purple got nothing there and 1 there. Oh, that would really suck for extra victory points. Of course, you know, ideally you'd like to get the top of both those tracks, which would net you a good 32 points at the end of the game. But, you know, that's how the game ends. And of course, whoever has the most points wins. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, I just played it a million times today. Yes, the day I posted this video is the day I have been playing this game. And I want to do that because at this point in my videos, this is the only thing on my shelf I hadn't played yet. And now I'm about to do my top 100 and I want to give it a fair shot. I don't know if it'll be on there, but you know, we'll see. So, what do I think about this game? After playing it a couple times, I love it. I love the game. It's really smart. The thing I like most about the game, well, first off, it's simple and easy to understand. The rules are very, very simple. Surprisingly simple. When I was reading them, I was like, ugh. And then we started playing, I was like, oh, I get it. French class. Oh, wait, that was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Anyway, the most interesting part about this game is at the end, do you want to take the coin? You want to take the victory points? And if you're going to split it, how are you going to split it? Now, that is a harder question than you think. At first, everyone's just getting coin. Everyone's getting coin because money's tight. Money's tight in this game. So you want coin because you want to move up the tracks. But eventually, someone's going to go, I need to start pulling away from the pack, and they're going to start using a few victory points, and that is going to set a trend because then everyone's going to start splitting their victory points in coin, and then after a while people are going to be going straight victory points. They're going to try to make a dash. They think they have a chance to get to 80, and so they just start cashing in their victory points, and then it's a mad dash. The game ends just fast and furious, and I love that. I love that. It starts off a little, it's not even slow. You don't even realize it that it started off, but after a while, after a few rounds, no one's getting points. You're going, geez, when's this thing going to pick up? And all of a sudden, it starts, picking up a little bit. You start getting 5 points, then 12, then 17. Then suddenly, boom, you bank 41 points. You're like, whoa, the game's about to end. I love this game. This is a fantastic game. This is well worth your time. I got this on a bid. A buddy of mine who watches the channel found out I was bidding for this game and messaged me and said, Matt, I'm not going to bid against you, but I better see that review. Well, here's the review. Thanks for letting me win the auction. I really do enjoy the game. I just think it's so much fun. I am going to play it a few more times as well because we really had a good time playing this game. There is different strategies. Each one of those auctions are very important to win. None of them are unimportant. Like I thought the Emperor's Favor, but the first game we played, my nephew beat me by 10 points, and he had the Emperor's Favor above me every time, so he kept bumping me back because he knew I was going to get a lot of big points. And to be honest, he probably took away 12 to 15 points from me during the game. And so I probably would have won if I would have focused more on the Emperor's Favor. Now, it's impossible to focus on everything, right? You want to be the best at everything, but I'll be honest, I cannot tell you which one is better because each one of those, even going to the buildings ones, which no one was doing for a while, I did for a little while, and then everyone was like, oh, we need to get buildings. I was the only one fortunate enough to build a bridge, which really helped me at the end. In one of the games, I think I made a miraculous comeback because I got a shortcut and I got high movement, so I was able to just shoot my guys through close to the end and bank a ton of victory points at the end, which gave me the win. But I love that. I love when there's different paths to victory. So should you get the game? Yes, absolutely. All right, gamers, that's it for now. Until next time, game on!